Matheson is delighted to have the opportunity to partner with UCD in hosting events such as this. Obviously it's a particularly important time for the Irish Agri-Foods business, and we're delighted to work with our friends and partners in UCD in hoping to move the conversation forward in the area. What we've learned a lot about, particularly from Ornua and Board B and Enterprise Ireland, are about the practical, concrete steps people are taking to deal with the issues, and that can be upskilling, it can be investment, and also exploring opportunities in new markets, and particularly in Southeast Asia and China.
We're facing one of the biggest challenges so far this century for Ireland and indeed the EU with Brexit. It's a political, legal, economic challenge, and we need to get together. And what's wonderful about this event is that we've managed to have an audience of more than 100 participants from industry, from government. We had the Minister open the event for us, and from academia, and it's through those synergies that we can really begin to identify and begin to map some of the solutions that are going to be needed come next March.
In recent years, much of our attention in terms of market diversification has been in Asia, where we have seen the value of exports nearly quadruple since 2009, and particularly in China. Indeed, an intensified focus on market diversification is a central component of the suite of measures deployed by myself and my government colleagues in response to Brexit. I therefore will look forward to seeing the results of this seminar as we consider all of the appropriate instruments and policy responses that are necessary in that context.
China certainly is the a country you have to do business in the 21st century. So it's like Jim Rogers once said, okay, if 19th century belonged to Britain, 20th century to the United States, then the 21st century surely belong to China. So make sure your kids learning Chinese, for their future. So I think, the center like this and the seminar activity like this actually help, Irish people, especially businessmen or young generations, to learn how to do business with China.
We're in a global competition. There are lots of other companies trying to do business in China, so we have to be careful we don't believe our own propaganda. Like, if we're going to do business in China, we have to be match fit. It takes a bit of time to build the relationships, but it's worth it and it's paid off. And it's interesting for companies who aspire to do business in China to study the companies who have cracked it. There are a few Irish companies who have done it of different scales, and basically they make very interesting case studies to watch how they do it.
There's no one solution for every company. Every company's exposure to the UK is different. And it's very important that companies take all the advice that's out there, but really relate it to their own company and adapt it as quickly as they can. Brexit is coming down the line here, and we all need to be aware of how it's going to impact specifically on our companies, on our operations.
Ireland, meat production in particular, which is my business, we're not the cheapest in the world, and we think we really need to innovate, and there's different ways of innovating. So we can innovate through trade finance solutions, or we can innovate through product solutions, and I think there's huge opportunities to develop functional solutions from meat, to think beyond what traditionally would be value added, would be putting a brand in a box or doing a different specification or an extension of a particular product, to moving to designing products that are suitable for function, for format and for future.
Our latest survey showed that of 2,400 companies, over 85% of our clients are taking action. And what are they doing? They're innovating in their products, they're becoming more competitive, and they're investing in new diversified export markets.
The supports that Board B has put in place for the food and drinks industry as it prepares for Brexit follow a suite of pillars around insights, around upskilling and around relationship management. In terms of the upskilling piece, we have in place now a series of workshops around supply chain logistics. We have also launched training programs around customs. More broadly then on insights, we have developed a whole suite of consumer and market research projects. We've developed focus group tools, concept validation tools, and also supplier development programs. Finally, in terms of the relationship piece, we as an agency are in front of our largest customers in the UK market and other markets, talking about Brexit, providing that reassurance, giving them, I suppose, the message around our Brexit barometer results that show 74% of Irish food and drink companies are preparing for Brexit and have taken actions in all of the key areas.